You know what a good teacher does? A good teacher takes something complicated, molecules, reactions, the periodic table, and makes it simple, makes it beautiful. You know what I did? I took everything I taught those kids and used it to cook poison in my garage. Because I owed $180,000 and the bank was taking my house. My name is Eugene Hartfield. Most people called me Mr. Hartfield. Some called me Gene, and here they call me teacher. I'm 71. I've been in the Oregon State Correctional Institution for 17 years. I need reading glasses so thick they make my eyes look like they belong to somebody else. My knees pop when I stand up, but my hands are steady. Always have been. Steady enough to write chemical equations on a whiteboard for 22 years. Steady enough to cook methamphetamine in a garage for 11 months. And there's a kid in here. Well, he's not a kid anymore. But there's a man in this prison who used to sit in my third period class. I'll get to that. I started teaching in 1986, Jefferson High School, Portland, chemistry, and I loved it. I know that sounds like something people say, but I mean it the way you mean it when you say you love your kids. It was the thing I was put here to do. I had this way of, my wife Linda used to call it the Gene Show. I'd come home and she'd say, "How was the Gene Show today?" Because I didn't just teach chemistry. I performed it. I'd blow things up, safely, you know, controlled. I'd change the color of fire. I'd make elephant toothpaste with the freshmen, and they'd scream like it was Christmas morning. 22 years. That's 22 years of kids walking into room 114 thinking science was boring and walking out thinking maybe it wasn't. Some of them went to college because of that class. I got letters. I kept everyone. My wife Linda taught third grade at the elementary school 2 miles down the road. We'd carpool. 6:45 every morning, coffee in the travel mug she got us. Mine said, "World's Okayest Chemist." Hers said, "I teach. What's your superpower?" Saturdays I'd grade labs at the kitchen table. Linda would do her lesson plans on the couch. We didn't talk much those mornings. Didn't need to. Just the sound of papers and pencils and the coffee maker doing its second pot. Quiet. The good kind of quiet. We had a daughter, Sarah, smart kid. Smarter than me, which I told her every chance I got. She used to sit on the counter when she was little and watch me do dishes and ask me questions about atoms. "Daddy, are we made of atoms?" "Yes, baby." "Even my hair?" "Even your hair." She was studying pre-med at Oregon State when everything fell apart. I took my AP class to a pharmaceutical lab once. Field trip. One of the kids, a sophomore, quiet kid named Dillon, he asked me, "Mr. Hartfield, does chemistry ever do anything bad?" And I told him, "Chemistry doesn't do anything, Dillon. People do." I said that. I said those exact words. I even remember feeling smart saying it. People think there's a moment. One big moment where a man goes bad. Like a switch flips. That's not how it works. I didn't fall. I slid, slow enough that I could pretend I was still standing. In 2007, Linda got sick. Not dying sick, but surgery sick. 2 operations. Insurance covered most of the first one. Denied the second. We had a mortgage. $2,200 a month. I was making $52,000 a year before taxes. We had $11,000 in savings. Sarah's tuition was $14,000 a semester. Linda couldn't work for 4 months after the surgery. Do the math. I did. Every night at the kitchen table with a calculator and a stack of bills that got taller every week. I refinanced the house. That bought us 6 months. Then the adjustable rate kicked in and the payment went to $3,100. I took a second job tutoring. 25s an hour, 3 nights a week. It wasn't enough. It was never going to be enough. The bank sent the first foreclosure notice in March of 2008. Pink paper. I hid it from Linda. I hid the second one too. And here's the part where I tell you the thing that keeps me up at night. I knew how. I didn't have to Google it. I didn't have to ask anyone. I had a master's degree in chemistry and 22 years of teaching organic reactions. I knew the precursors. I knew the temperatures. I knew the yields. I set up the lab in the garage on a Saturday while Linda was at her sister's. Took me 4 hours. The smell. You can't hide the smell of a cook. Ammonia and solvent and something sweet underneath that makes your eyes water. I knew what every one of those chemicals was. I'd written them on a whiteboard 100 times. Drawn the molecular structures, explained the bonds. I cooked my first batch on a Sunday night. Graded papers Monday morning. Taught second period about covalent bonds at 9:15. Had a parent-teacher conference at 3:30. Drove home. Cooked again. That was my life for 11 months. Teacher by day. I won't say what by night. The money was good. The money was insane. I paid off the mortgage in 4 months. 4. Paid Sarah's tuition in full. Put $30,000 in savings. Bought Linda new tires for Christmas and told her I'd been doing extra tutoring. And I told myself it was temporary. I told myself I'd stop when the debt was cleared. I told myself nobody was getting hurt. His name was Kyle Brennan. He was 24 years old. He bought from a guy who bought from a guy who bought from me, 3 steps removed. I never met him. Never knew his name until the police told me. He overdosed in his apartment on a Tuesday. His roommate found him Wednesday morning. 24 years old. I was teaching kids his age. I was giving them safety goggles and telling them to be careful with the Bunsen burners. And a kid the same age as my students died because of what I made in my garage. They arrested me at school. 3rd period. Room 114, in front of 28 students. That was 17 years ago. 17 years. You'd think the worst part was the arrest. The trial, the sentencing. It wasn't. Linda left, not right away. She came to the trial every day, sat in the 2nd row, didn't miss one. She stopped coming to visit after 3 years. The last time she came, she sat across from me and said, "I don't know who you are." Not angry, not crying, just stating a fact, like reading a temperature off a thermometer. Sarah finished medical school. She's a doctor now, pediatrician. She hasn't visited in 9 years. She writes sometimes, short letters. "I'm fine. Hope you're well." 6 words, 7 if she signs her name. My mother died in 2015, pancreatic cancer. I filed for compassionate release to see her. Denied. She died on a Thursday. I found out on a Friday. Jefferson High School removed my name from the Teacher of the Year plaque in the main hallway. 2004. My name was on that wall for 4 years. They took it down the week I was arrested. I don't blame them. I'd have done the same thing. A colleague, Tom Reeves, taught physics next door to me for 15 years. He sent me one letter. 3 lines. "I trusted you." So did the kids. I can't write again. He didn't. But here's the one that broke me. 2014, 6 years into my sentence. I'm in the yard, walking the track like I do every morning. And this kid, this man, he stops in front of me. And he says, "Mr. Hartfield?" His name was Dillon Parks. The same Dillon who asked me if chemistry ever does anything bad. The quiet kid from 3rd period. He was 28 years old and he was in the same prison as his 10th grade chemistry teacher. Meth. He got caught with meth. Not mine. Mine was long gone by then, but meth. He looked at me and he said, "I guess chemistry does do bad things, huh, Mr. Hartfield?" I have thought about that sentence every single day for 12 years. I will think about it every day until I die. People want to know if I'm sorry. And I am, but not the way you think. I'm sorry a 24-year-old kid named Kyle Brennan is dead. I'm sorry his mother had to bury him. I'm sorry I never knew his face, but I know his name better than I know my own most days. But the thing that eats me, the thing that sits on my chest at 3 in the morning, is what I did to the idea of me. You understand? I was Mr. Hartfield, room 114, the guy who made chemistry fun, the guy who stayed late to help kids who were failing, the guy who wrote college recommendation letters on weekends. And I erased that. I erased 22 years of being that man. I took a wet rag and I wiped that board clean. And what's left is this chair, this jumpsuit, this number. You want to know what a chemistry teacher knows about the world? Everything breaks down. Every compound, every bond. Given enough heat, enough pressure, enough time, everything comes apart. Molecules, marriages, men. I broke down at $180,000 and a pink foreclosure notice. That was my threshold. That was the temperature where Eugene Hartfield stopped being Eugene Hartfield. You think you're different? You think your number's higher? Maybe it is. I hope it is. But I taught kids for 22 years that every element has a breaking point. Every single one. I just never thought I was one of them. I get out in 3 years, 2029. I'll be 74. Sometimes I think about going back to teaching. Then I remember I'm a convicted felon who cooked methamphetamine in his garage and a boy died. These hands taught 4,000 kids. 4,000. And the only one anyone remembers is what I did with them in the dark. I was a good teacher. I was. And that's the worst part. Because it means I knew better.